Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butts, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Today's program is brought to you by Add Passion and Stir, Big Chefs, Big Ideas, the new podcast from the anti-hunger organization Share Our Strength. Listen at strength.org/passion.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. We're a member-supported food radio network broadcasting over 35 weekly shows live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. Join our hosts as they lead you through the world of craft brewing, behind the scenes of the restaurant industry, inside the battle over school food, and beyond. Find us at heritageradionetwork.org.
We talk about food, we talk about music, with musical dudes, finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
I moved to Texas on a whim to see if I could fit in, and I felt like a proper lady. Before long, I met a man, I fell in love, you understand. He was all I could think of. Oh, Stan, you were my first lover. Why'd you say you love me if I meant nothing to you? Oh, Stan, you were undercover. Why'd you say you love me and then found another? I moved to Kansas to move on. I drank whiskey until dawn, but I missed that loving. I went back to find that man. I found him and goddamn, he was with another. Oh, Stan, you were my first lover. Why'd you say you love me if I meant nothing to you? Oh, Stan, you were undercover. Why'd you say you love me and then found another? Don't you say my name, 'cause I've been saying yours ever since you walked out the door. This is what they meant when I heard it said that you can't come home again. I moved back home, settled down, got a job in my hometown, and I felt like a bruised woman. Before long, I began to think that man would be the death of me. So I'm gonna kill him. Oh, Stan, you were my first lover. Why'd you say you love me if I meant nothing to you? Oh, Stan, you were undercover. Why'd you say you love me and then you found another? Oh, Stan, you were my first lover.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. We are sitting in lovely Venice. I love driving over to Leona because I can see the beach. And we are here with Nyesha Arrington. Welcome to Snacky Tunes.
That is me. Thank you for having me.
Oh my god. Thanks for, I love coming over here. Especially because I live in Silver Lake.
Yeah.
And I drive over here and I hit like a crest. And I'm like, oh yeah, the beach is literally right here.
It's beautiful.
And by beach, I mean entire Pacific Ocean.
No, literally. And it's the first time in, 16 years of cooking professionally that I have the ability to instantly change my mindset if I need to go take a breather.
Oh, it's not like, oh, we're going to go to the dog park, which I love. It's like, no, we're going to literally sand, ocean, get a little putt-putt boat, go out.
Beautiful.
You're born and raised in LA, right?
Yep.
Lifelong Angelino?
Yes. I've traveled. I lived in the Virgin Islands for a year. I lived in Hawaii for about a year. Chicago for a little bit, and Aspen, but I always come back to...
It's tough. I get it. People always ask me, because I moved from New York like a year and a half ago, like, you go back to New York, and I'm like, I don't know, man. It's really nice out here.
Yeah, it is.
Really nice.
Yeah.
And you grew up here, and Korean grandmother.
Yes.
Quarter
Love
Korean
of
yourself.
My life. Yes.
Love your life.
Love of my life.
Aren't grandmothers great?
I was literally talking to someone today, and they were like, we should do something with your grandma. And I was like, oh, well, unfortunately, she passed away.
Yeah.
But her legacy lives on through my cooking and my heart, and that's the most beautiful thing about food, is that it has the ability to... the soul still lives, I've
been slowly poaching my grandmother's... She's Hungarian, and I've been slowly taking them. And I remember when I first made one of her dishes for her, and the warmth I got from her, and I was like, well, shit, I could have just done this years ago and gotten your approval.
Right.
But yeah, sure.
No,
but that's the best way you can honor them. So what did she cook when you were growing up? Was it like full-on Korean food?
Oh, 100%. Like, it's funny because... you don't know how to identify yourself as a biracial kid, and
you're black,
Cherokee Indian, and white. From my dad's side.
So you got 4 quarters.
Correct.
Full quarters.
Exactly.
That must have been an interesting pantry growing up.
Oh, you got to be kidding me! And it's all in retrospect. At the time, I can't say I didn't appreciate it, but I was very aware of the different cultural influences in different households, So, at my grandma's house, go there and she'd have literally 5 pounds of garlic, ready for me to peel. And, it's just a pastime thing, watching cartoons. And, I remember my sister was, despised it. And I would always be like, I don't necessarily like doing this, but I'm going to try to find the fastest way to do this so that I can go play,
Oh, yeah. But that brought you closer to your grandmother, right?
100%. And then I really started to enjoy that. And I think really started to mold my mind into, that skill set of, staying power and, the things that take, what it takes to be a good chef today. But, holidays at her house was newspaper on the tables and, dumpling making. We made so many and would give that out for holiday gifts.
That sounds like the best holiday present, just dumplings.
I'm pretty sure that's
frozen bags of dumplings or fresh dumplings?
It depends. We'd partially cook them.
Okay.
Kind of IQF situation, make it easy. But I'm pretty sure that's how my mom got my dad. She, that's the legacy.
My wife and I always go and have dumplings, and I know that if she ever brought me a bag of dumplings, I'd be like, I'm re-up. The love is re-up. And you come from an artistic family, right?
Yes.
Right? So it was music, art, everything.
It's my favorite. I feel and I think that's why my heart is so happy in Venice. We're just really allowed to express sort of, unprovoked, visceral, raw love, and that's creators of the planet are perpetuate that, energy. But yeah, my dad is a bass player, and he played in the old school 70s funk band.
Ooh, shout him out.
Do you know the Brothers Johnson?
Well,
they're really awesome, but he played bass with them. And
Spotify, can I find him there?
100%.
All right.
They have a really cool song called Strawberry Letter 23. It's absolutely beautiful. And I mean, I grew up like seeing these guys, Quincy Jones, you know.
Who? Gotta watch.
Dig
the archives, gotta watch.
And, you know, I love painting and sculpting. My dad is really my best friend in life, and him and I did martial arts when I was young.
That is so awesome.
It's amazing.
So tight family growing up.
Super tight.
So cooking with your grandmother, art,
yes,
music with your parents.
Yes.
So it seems like you wanted to do something creative, working with your hands.
Yes.
When did food start coming to be like, oh, I really, I mean, no one ever loves peeling garlic, but you're like, I could do this full time.
You know what's funny is I always played restaurant growing up, and then...
How young?
Like 9. Like,
okay.
Played restaurant. Like, had my friends come over and was like...
Doing P&L sheets and things like that?
No. I wish. I would hone that skill way back then.
She's sitting in her room just looking at Excel. And the lights are off. Half a glass of wine.
Right? I love it. Oh my god.
But friends coming over, right?
Snifter.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. She's doing tastings with like produce.
I love it. No, I literally would like have my friends come over and like we'd make. My thing was always broths and soups. So like we'd make like broths and soups, and I thought I was like so cool. And then where was I going with that? So
you were 9. You were doing restaurants.
9, I was doing restaurants. I named my first restaurant A+, One Good Restaurant.
That's awesome. That sounds like a Chinese food restaurant.
Tell me about it. Like all
I used to go to in Brooklyn, right?
And then I graduated high school. Didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, was super into drawing classes, photography, all those kinds of things. And then I was like, oh, I have to get a real job now. And like took some courses at community college. And then I remember that summer had passed right after high school. And a good friend of mine that I'd grown up with came back for the summer, and him and I like connected. And I was like, where you been? He's like, oh, I went to culinary school. I was like, what?
What year is this?
I graduated in the year 2000 in high school.
Okay, so this is still of a time before food had become what it is now.
Well before.
I
mean, I'm telling you, though, is sitting in that classroom in the year 2000, and the first day I was there, it like hit me like a ton of bricks that this is what I wanted to do the rest of my life.
And what was the makeup of the class? Because I feel now it's, you know, it's like you can't see the eye rolls going on, but like back then, who went to culinary school in the late 90s, early 2000s?
I mean, everyone from, you know, like second career people, people straight out of high school, and, you know, people who really wanted to refine their techniques. But I watched it, you know, at 17 then, and has just seen it explode.
I mean,
consistently.
I mean, crazy.
Like, it's unfathomable, like, way back then to dream how it is today and how much people have latched onto this idea that food, for me, you know, food is love, food is legacy. When we talked about food being soul, but it's the one constant thing, you know, that can live forever.
Oh, absolutely. And something in your life that's been a through line. So you graduate school, and who'd you go work for?
So while I was in school, you know, I was living at my parents' house, waking up 4 o'clock in the morning to get to school at 6, and would go to school and then work at a restaurant called Giraffe. And that was Rafael Luneta.
Yeah.
And, I mean, to this day, he's just... I love and respect him so much. True LA chef. Gave me my first surfboard.
When you say LA chef, what does that mean?
You know, that quintessential sort of farmer's market driven, but without saying, you know, I'm farm to table, and like wearing that on your sleeve like it's something that isn't so completely organic and natural, no pun intended. But the LA chef, I mean, you know, his legacy, the chefs that he's worked for and, you know, who he's partnered with, I feel that, you know, he's one of those kind of founders of LA cuisine and California cuisine, really. Super fresh forward, you know. and really being able to mix savory and sweet. I think that's really something that's super indicative of California cuisine. You know, it's textural, very approachable food, unpretentious. And I saw that and I felt it in my heart when I was cooking there. And I started there as a pantry cook, and it was super hard. And I worked with a lot of Latinos, and I was like the young female in the kitchen, and it was very challenging, you know. And those were like the early molding stages of staying power, you know.
Yeah, the hard
discipline,
work, discipline, things like that.
Yeah.
And how'd you wind up working for Josiah Citron?
So they were partners in Giraffe, and Josiah split off and opened a second, opened Melise.
No, small,
you know.
Melise. What was it like working at Melise?
Well, before Melise, I met Josiah and Raphael and Josiah were opening a restaurant together called Lemon Moon. Moon, Lunetta, Lemon, Citron.
Sure.
So.
Got it.
That was a breakfast lunch concept, and I came in as a pantry cook. Worked my way up through in all of the ranks to sous chef, and then opened their second location at like the age of 22, 23. Was running a kitchen, and I was like, I think I can do it. Like people see something in me that I don't know. I'm just doing. Like I'm just gun ho, putting my head down, not sleeping, putting everything in my life second to, running this restaurant. And then the second location ended up closing. It was in a weird space in Century City. And then I went over to work at Melise, and I didn't think I was ready for that. I was 20 because that was something that was different for me. I'd never understood. I wasn't exposed to fine dining. I didn't eat like that growing up. I didn't understand that world I was 23 at that time, 24. And I came in scared, nervous, and because I came in as the viand, I was the meat cook, right? So I'm cooking all the game birds. I'm cooking Côte de Boeuf for two. I'm cooking roasting chickens, a la menu. Order fire chicken for two. You roast a whole truffle chicken, and it's it's just beautiful. I mean,
the food is beautiful.
I cannot tell you how powerful and meaningful that restaurant is. Brendan Collins was the chef de cuisine there when I was there, and I had a hard time there. That's those gnarly plate and pan throwing kitchens at that time. You know? This was 2006, and I remember the first day I staged there was a plate that flew by my head, and I'm telling you though, I felt I was exactly where I needed to be, and that I'd almost already walked and lived these steps. And I felt the same way when I read Kitchen Confidential by Anthony. I felt this is my life.
Have I read this before? Have I cooked here before?
You know what I mean?
No, of course.
The way he articulates, it's just so visceral. It can give me chills right now. But I'm telling you, I came in and we didn't have the 2 stars, so it was super crowning moment to be a part of a team to attain those 2 stars and move up and just command the kitchen with Josiah, with Ken, with Brennan. Those were some of the most fun cooking times. I remember just so many being in the trenches, cooking, seeing Michael Cimarusti come in and doing these 5x5 dinners and David Lefebvre and all these are all the LA chefs I'm talking about, all those are my Susan Finnegar, Josie, those people. I want to be that chef that continues on the legacy, the Wolfgang Pucks. I know he's grown to this astronomical entity, but that thought, of the essence that lives on. But I'm telling you, so those were some of the funnest and challenging cooking of my life, and I tell the cooks today, is you really have to have that staying power. I was living in Long Beach at the time and coming to the farmer's market, battling traffic, leaving in 3 hours early so I wouldn't have to drive through traffic, because I had my heart was in it. But
you had that drive.
So
we're going to take a quick musical break.
Amazing.
We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Wilshire. We're going to talk about your time on Top Chef, and we're going to talk about the beautiful Leona.
Amazing.
Here on Snacky Tunes, please enjoy a track from the archives on heritageradionetwork.org.
And you asked me would I live with that ghost in the house. Yeah, I would trade 1 year of fear for that old feeling. And my love for you parades in this room, refusing to leave, hoping to weave my way into the hours when you can fall asleep. Or you can fall asleep, but I'm always gonna watch you fall asleep. But I'm always gonna watch you, that's me. I love you with that wild love. I love you with that love. And the rainbow dances with Christ on the wall. The requiem breaks the devil who falls. And I'm free from the pulling force. I'm free from the grasp of that beautiful girl. She was part of my world before I was changed from the voice into the living thing. And please let it be, you still see him in me. 2 hands to play a song for the dead. Oh, a requiem for the one who walks through me. And you can walk through me like God and the angel who shelters back from the beast on the hill. And I'm running, I ran across the killing. I ran across the killing. Madonna loves me, Madonna holds me, Madonna dies, Madonna unfolds in me now. I can't believe in nothing, and I can't believe in nothing. And you stand before me in a big dream, asking all you. Stand in my bed, shaking your head. And sing a requiem for the hands God gave you. Walk away, but I'm always gonna love you, that's me. I love you with that wild love, yeah. I love you with that love. A requiem for the boy who needs a requiem for the child who feeds from the breast. I can't believe in nothing, and I can't believe in nothing.
Welcome back to Snacky Tunes. I'm here with the wonderful chef, Nyesha Arrington, and the wonderful Leona in Venice. I love that. I don't want to say all your big cooking moments have been in LA, but the majority of them. I know you spent time in Vegas, but your first executive chef, right? No? Second one was at Wilshire.
Correct.
Right. What was the first one?
First one was in the Virgin Islands at a place called Spice Mill Restaurant.
Okay.
And that was like one of the more fun, adventurous times.
Yeah.
I went there for a season and worked in this cove. And the restaurant was called Spice Mill. It is called Spice Mill, but it's in a cove. I mean, literally, they'd come, day boat, spiny lobster, and sea urchin. Like,
sign me up.
So I came out of Joel Robuchon kitchen and straight into that environment.
Well, also let's not forget you're in Vegas.
Yes.
And then you go to the island.
And watch this guy, sandy-footed, walk through my kitchen, and like all of my like European, like French fine dining pedigree wanted to like flip the fuck out.
You're getting sand.
You know,
on my kitchen
what are you
floor?
doing?
What are you
Crazy.
doing?
And then I see this beautiful product, and I'm like, wow, like where are we right now? Like this is amazing. So.
But so you get off the island, you come back to LA.
Yes.
Because it keeps pulling you back.
Yes.
For those who aren't familiar with Wilshire, what was it like?
Wilshire was interesting. I left the islands. I went to Hawaii for a little while, and what brought me back was Top Chef reached out, and I figured I'd interview while I was here, and Wilshire for me was the first really at the helm of we were a $3 million operation.
Wow.
And that was, every day we'd have, 3 BOs stacked Monday through Sunday of parties, off-site events. And, I had a brigade of 8. That kitchen is a beautiful kitchen.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, that was really understanding
an operation
on a large scale.
Because
in
you're running the restaurant, and then you have all the side business.
Exactly.
And that side business is where you make a good amount of the margin, and when you sort of take care of people.
100%.
So you're back here. You're cooking. You cooking the food you want to cook?
At Wilshire?
Yeah, at Wilshire.
It's always interesting when you're brought in as an executive chef, and I think every business entity runs it differently, where some people have full creative control and some chefs don't. But I had a good amount, but I can't say I had all of it.
Sure.
I can't say I hung up my hat there.
Right.
You know what I mean? My apron, or so to speak. But damn it if we didn't hone an amazing culture and team in the 2 years of my tenure there. That didn't. It was interesting, because they'd gone out without a chef for a while, so I kind of inherited the ragtag, rascals, and
like the Disney movie version of Anaheim chefs. Or
better believe it,
yeah.
Exactly.
And then also around this time, you said you're talking to Top Chef.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go on that show?
Well, the first time that they called in 2003ish.
Yeah.
I remember I had my first chef de cuisine job at a restaurant called Cachet, and the hostess came up to me, and I want to say it was a Thursday or Friday night. Regardless, it was in the middle of dinner service.
Yeah.
And she walked up to me with the phone and said, there's a producer from Top Chef calling. And I said, tell him that I'm not fucking call this restaurant during service. There's no respect there. And I came out on the floor, I got on the phone, I said that to themselves, and I hung up the phone.
Beautiful. And they probably were like, okay, possible villain, casting note.
Which I didn't know anything about.
2003,
that whole
it hadn't been what it was today.
Man, I didn't call one friend. I didn't do anything. I moved all my stuff from the Virgin Islands. I moved into an apartment in Venice, a studio apartment. I had no furniture. I just got the position at Wilshire. I was pulling my freaking hair out, so to speak. Got everything running. Did Top Chef, and was like, "What am I doing here?" I'm a pretty easygoing California girl, and it's like, it's a different mindset.
What's it like on the show? How about this? For people who sit home and watch it, things like that, what are things that what's one thing you just cannot really comprehend unless you actually are a contestant on the show?
Well, what we do is a process. You don't get the process time. You know what I mean? If I conceptualize a dish, there's no, okay, let's scratch that, let's do it again. It's here, now. No, you don't see, for me, my mindset was different. I pride myself on being very meticulous and sort of OCD, if you will, or whatever the words that come along with that. And I'm very, regimen. I like my things lined up and straight and counted, and, there's a whole process. Those are the things I feel go into the mindset of a good chef.
Sure.
Okay? But what you don't see on the other side of the camera is, while I'm trying to run a clean station, some chefs are, literally throwing blenders on the floor, pots, I can't operate in that. It just drives me insane.
But then they also pile on the restraints and the sleep deprivation and everything.
So that's what I was going to say next, and that's exactly what was my first thought, is the sleep deprivation thing. When you're sitting in these interviews, I'm telling you, there were nights where I wanted to sleep so bad, but you can't sleep because there's you can't even comprehend the thoughts that are racing through your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were overnight challenges. You have to go from you have to log all of your recipes and give them to, the producers.
Yeah.
So you're trying to write all these recipes. You get called for an interview. Then you have to, like, smile and be a, character, so
and
to
then
speak.
be like, what am I doing here?
Yeah. And then, but the thing that, for me, that's the most awkward is you're staring into this, like, ambiguous lens of, like, figurative people that may or may not be watching, and you don't get that interaction. I can sit here, we can have a conversation.
Sure.
It's like a ping pong table. But it's like, you're staring into this lens that's, like, so weird. But
it was an experience. And
definitely.
So I guess a 2-part question.
Yeah.
Were you happy you did it? And what was life like after you did it?
Okay, so 2-part answer. I am happy I did it, because I definitely don't regret anything in my life path and career.
Sure.
But, at the time, I felt, and people always say this in business or whatever, is you should tell your, like, younger self to relax.
Yeah,
and
of
like
course.
for me, like, I was just always jumping out of my skin and, like, didn't know, like, how to be or, like, what to do, and was, like, always so, like, riddled with anxiety all the time, when I'm not even like that in my personal life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that
I
was
know.
hard. So I think, I don't regret it, but I don't know. It's like a glutton for punishment thing. Like, for me, I'm like, picture, I'm going to win it, because I know I can.
Right. No one goes on to any of those shows and, like, I hope I lose.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get done with Top Chef. Let's talk about Leona. How did Leona come into existence? What's the story behind that?
So, I did Top Chef. I finished up at Wilshire. I was there for about a little over 2 years.
Yep.
And I said, I think I'm going to take a small hiatus from this industry. That I'd been in it for about 10 years now. And, I started with, I was going to take the summer off. And, people kept sending inquiries to do dinner parties and stuff like that, and little things here and there. And I, the show came out, like, started a little wave there, and people were, like, calling me, and I went. I went all over the nation for 2 years.
Wow.
Sustained my life. I felt, like, alive again, like I was not a shell. And, I got to go spend time on farms. I went and I worked with this group called Summit, who's a young entrepreneur global network. And, I did a huge event with them and spent 3 months in Utah building this ridiculous dining experience. Flew in chefs from all over the nation. And we literally were perched on a mountain and this huge getaway and, like, huge kind of like outstanding in the field style table.
Yeah.
But really memorable experiences, spending time with my friends who started this farm called Epiphany Farms in Bloomington, Illinois. And I mean, I remember I made these muffins, and it was like getting the flour from the farm next door.
You saw the network.
Getting the strawberries, getting the milk from the butter, that was all on one plot. Like that, I regained a new appreciation and love for food. Then, after 2 years of that, I was like, okay, like,
let's put some roots down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Life on the road is exciting, and then some
It's a
point
schlep.
then you go like, okay, pack the suitcase.
You
one
better
more
believe
time.
it. Yep.
Oh, yeah,
Pack
yeah,
the
yeah.
knives, sharpen the knives, do the site visit, do all the invoicing, like did everything, And so now, I
You're like, it's time to come home.
Yeah, exactly. And do it in my backyard and have a place of 4 walls where all the love goes into. And that is Leona. That's been birthed out of that and has been, now 16 years in it. When I first started out in the year 2000, I said, I am not the instant gratification chef. Like, I want to see all the facets of this industry: breakfast, lunch, dinner, fine dining, taco spots on the beach, burger places in Aspen.
Spiny lobster places in the
better
islands.
believe it.
Yeah?
And did all of that. And then said, okay, well, now crumple all that together. Well, what is my love offering? And this is it, And it's food. My ethos in cooking, I call my style progressive California cuisine. So I just love the term progression. I feel like in the day and age that we're in, the tech world and that space and, content, all these things now that's like associated with the food world. But progression seems to be the mainstay kind of thought, and like how you offer these food experiences. And also, I didn't want to limit myself. I think my food will continue to progress as I progress. You know?
I mean, and you do a lot of work inspired by that ethos from your couple of years on the road, but even before that, of working with Santa Monica Farmer Market. But you have your own little plot on Abercrombie in Venice at Cook's Garden.
Yep.
That literally says Leona on it.
Yep.
And so from the soil up, you're inspiring what's grown and what's being produced.
It's everything. I mean, we get our produce, and I mean, I'm growing stuff in that plot that I was inspired by in the islands that I couldn't find. Shadow Benny is like one of the most delicious herbs I've ever come across. It's like a floral cilantro flavor, but super sturdy and hearty. Beautiful, just stunning flavor profile. But yeah, I mean, my food's very, very globally inspired. I've had the fortune to be inspired by European chefs, Israeli chefs, my grandmother. And,
I mean, your heritage alone is more multicultural than some people experience. And that was a birthright.
Yeah, I mean, I would go to my dad's side, all from, Mississippi, their, forefathers, and have, the most amazing gumbo, and then go to my grandma's house and then have,
All right. I'm going to say gumbo dumplings. Just
need to do that.
And so Leona has found a great home, a great success. The accolades have come. Eater named you Chef of the Year, LA.
First year open. Which
is incredible. I mean, but let's also say this year, top 10 dish of the year, Jay Gold. What was that like? And what was the dish? And how did that dish come into existence?
Just unbelievable. I mean, it's believable because it comes.
Yeah, it's believable.
It's believable.
Yeah, believe in yourself.
Yes, I know.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. So it's funny. I was butchering fish. It was Friday night, and one of my cooks came in. She gives me a big hug. Casey Korn, love her. And she said, "Congratulations!" And I hugged her and I said, "Congratulations to you!"
Yeah,
And she's
right.
Yeah, and we talked about being the top 10 dishes of all of Los Angeles.
And by the way, that man eats. So to be in the top 10, I don't even know how many dishes he eats in a year. Anyway,
it is a beautiful thing.
And so, what is the dish, and how did it come into existence?
So the dish is a roasted dumpling squash. Mm-hmm. So I've been working with this farm, Tutti Frutti, for many, many years, and they have a killer squash called dumpling squash, and it's kind of like a delicata in that it's very thin-skinned, but super delicious flesh. It's like almost creamy, in this day and age, people really are interested about what they're putting into their bodies for fuel, also, as well as where it comes from. So, I wanted to make a dish that is going to be appealing to vegetarian and meat eaters alike. Mm-hmm. So
the squash is a good platform for that.
Exactly. We were in fall at that time, and I was eating very well. The squash was eating super delicious, so I wanted to make something that was gluten-free. It's not like the overarching style of my food, but this dish really hit a lot of platforms. So I wanted something super unctuous. So I did tapioca-based risotto. So what we do is kind of lightly cook onions. Well, we cook them actually all the way through, but no color, just really translucent in color. And we fold that into blanched tapioca, white wine, a little butter, some mascarpone, and some Parmesan cheese. And we fold all these delicious flavors together, finish it with chive, and then we roast our dumpling squash and toast the seeds and fold all that together, fill the squash back up. And then finish it with our burrata. And it's perfect dish.
It's perfect.
It's crunchy, it's silky, it's meaty. You have a knife, you can cut into it with a knife and fork.
And you can eat it by yourself, which most people do, or you can share it with others.
Exactly.
And have just people been coming in and ordering it. Can't take it off the menu.
Nope. And so now it's actually a verbal, because I love, part of the experience is, and what makes my heart sing is hearing our service staff talk about these dishes.
Of course.
You know, and so I'm very adamant on having everyone taste everything. You can't go on the floor unless you haven't tasted it, or you heard it come out of my mouth, or you got your descriptions. But I don't even put it on the menu. You have to talk about it every time, because it's so beautiful, and we put that on our New Year's Eve menu to celebrate, you know.
Of course. And
it's a beautiful thing.
Just drop the squash at midnight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Chef, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you for spending time with us.
Always.
Congratulations on everything. Also, Badass Women of LA Chefs, LA Weekly. There's too many accolades. We don't have enough time. There's too many good things. And then all of your charity work and everything. It's all awesome.
That's what drives my heart, is the charity stuff.
It's awesome. Well, we appreciate it. Appreciate you. How's your Instagram game? Do people, you got a good game, or Leona got a good game?
We got a good game. My Instagram and Twitter are Nyesha Joyce, all one word.
Okay.
But great game. And then Facebook page is at Chef Nyesha Arrington.
Awesome. Walk-ins, reservations, people just come swing by, have a glass of wine.
100%. We keep a nice niche for neighborhood. Very important.
Perfect. I've always found the true successful restaurants are neighborhood joints.
100%.
And you have created one of them. So thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Got another love track from the Snacky Tunes archives here on heritageradionetwork.org.
Woe is me, faithless you and selfish me. I will leave a key for you outside my doorway. Woe is me, wanted by the land or two by sea. So won't you leave for me a light outside your doorway? On a ladder from there to here I climb. Oh, this clatter between my ears I find. Does it matter if I can't clear my mind? There's a right and a wrong time. Woe is me, sentimental you and faithful me. I will be the one to gaze on you discreetly. Slow your speed, turn yourself around and follow me, 'cause I will be the one who prays upon you sweetly. On a ladder from there to here I climb. Oh, this clatter between my ears I find. Does it matter if I can't clear my mind? There's a right and a wrong time. Oh, 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 oh. On a ladder from there to here, I climb. All this clatter between my ears, I find. Does it matter if I can't clear my mind? There's a right and a wrong time. There's a right and a wrong time. There's a right and a wrong time. Oh, 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 oh.
Add Passion and Stir. Big Chefs, Big Ideas. The new podcast from the anti-hunger organization Share Our Strength brings together your favorite chefs and amazing social innovators to discuss how food impacts almost every major issue you care about: your health, your environment, and your children's ability to learn. Uplifting stories from chefs like Michelin star winner Jose Andres.
People want our respect. People don't want our dirty shoes and our old pants. People want us to show up and show them that they really matter to us.
And Top Chef winner Brian Voltaggio.
Hunger has many different faces. You can walk down the street every day and see children playing in the playground. They're hungry. They don't know where they're going to get their next meal. They don't know if they're going to have dinner.
Can be heard at strength.org/passion. You can help change the world by changing the way we think about food. Listen at strength.org/passion. That's strength.org/passion.
Welcome back. We have Hannah Gill and the Hours, which should just really be hour.
The minute.
The minute.
The minute.
Yeah. Hannah and Brad, welcome to Snacky Tunes.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's great to have you here in this winter-esque edition of Snacky Tunes. Are your feet warming up?
Oh my gosh, yes. Slowly but surely.
I mean, when you hear that it's 1 degree outside, you don't really understand it. And then when you get out there, you're like, I should have had better boots.
I should have put on that extra pair of socks, but you live
Hannah
and you
walked
learn.
here. Hannah walked, what, 25
It wasn't that bad.
hours
It was, yeah, I walked 6 hours.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah.
You found both hills.
Yeah, that was big.
You're from Maryland. How does this winter compare to your Maryland winters?
You know, it's the exact same, really. The only difference is that if I want to go somewhere here, I have to walk. So, you know, if it's 20 degrees in Maryland, it's no big deal. You can wear whatever you want, hop in a car. But if you're in New York, you really have to brace for the elements. So that sucks. But I've acquired a lot of pairs of wool socks since being here. So
a lot of your songs talk about moving from Maryland to the big city. What are some of the things that you've pulled or some of the lessons that you've seen from being here, and how has it influenced the type of music that you're making?
Yeah, I think this is, I just love the pace of the city, I guess. And, you know, you see a lot of different people living a lot of different lives. And I guess it's a cool element that I didn't necessarily have before I moved here, because you can really use other people's lives and other people's experiences to help you kind of write and I guess create new things. You see more than just your perception of what the world is.
And how has that influenced is it influenced the music that you make, or what's in the lyrics, or both?
I think it's a combination, you know, and I also think the music is altered a lot because of the phenomenal people that I've met when being here. And Brad, I know you're the same way, you know. And so it's great because, you know, you get to meet all of these new people and they can really help alter your sound. And the lyrics are also inspired by things that just happen in day-to-day life. So, of course, they affect it in some way.
And how did you two meet?
That's actually a funny story, and I'll give you the short version because I tend to drag it on. But
it's internet radio. We have 19 hours.
There we go. Yeah. No, you have all the time in the world. But no, so I did this talent show back in middle school, and I had just transferred schools, and it was just a little tiny talent show, and I won this talent show being this new kid in 8th grade.
It was American Idol.
Yes, it was American Idol. Yeah. But so my dad had like a really proud dad moment and took the video of me from the talent show into his work and showed people that he worked with. And one of the guys was like, hey, I don't know if you'd be interested, but my son has a recording studio up in New York City. Do you want to take your daughter up kind of as a birthday present and just record a few songs, like covers, just so she knows how it feels? And my dad was like, oh, I don't know, she's a little young. I'll put it off for a few years. So he did. And for my 16th birthday, I came up to New York and I saw a Ben Howard concert in Central Park. And I went to Brad's studio and I just recorded 2, like, just silly covers. You know, I think I did one by Kimbra and one by Jason Mraz. And at first, I could just tell that Brad didn't want to be there. It was a very favor to his father. But then by the end of it, I think he wanted me to come back. So I came up a month later and we recorded an EP, and then I just kept coming up.
Is there any truth to that? It's like, son, I need you to do a favor for me.
Like, boy.
Better.
No, I mean, we do a lot of those things, you know, where you have not necessarily 16-year-olds, but people coming in wanting to live the dream, and then you tune them up, and then they're so happy, and they get to take their, you know, recording away. But so it was definitely a favor sort of situation, and yeah, I mean, they're always okay. And I knew I was going to play guitar, and had to learn these 2 cover songs, I think, and you know, it was like, okay, let's do this, and I think your dad was with you, so
yeah.
I think I had met him once before, so it was fine. And then she started singing. I was like, oh, whoa!
It's like that scene in Once where the engineer like actually starts to pay attention and just like, oh, wait a second, this is not like all the other ones.
Totally, yeah. I was like, oh, we don't have to tune her, actually, you know. And it was an engineer friend of mine and I, and we were just like, wow, you got to come back up. You're really good, and you know, she. I always think it's a cliche to say an old soul, but she is. You know, she's at 16. It's like, whoa, you're hanging with us old dudes and not missing a beat. And yeah, she's just extremely musical.
And you both have a shared background in jazz as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of discovered my passion for jazz music when I moved up to the city, so it's not a huge background in jazz, but
yeah, Hannah's a baby. But yeah, I studied jazz, and when Hannah moved up here, we decided to do a 1920s, 30s project called After Hours, and just to make money on the side. And we went to the studio with a bunch of awesome musicians and recorded a quick EP, and then started doing parties and weddings to subsidize the original project. And it's been a lot of fun.
And which side of jazz do you land on? Is it the singer in the front with, you know, kind of jamming in the background, or is it more improvisational, or what era?
It's definitely catered more towards swing or I guess trad jazz. So it's great. It's you know, it really all depends on the venue sometimes. You know, we definitely like a lot of freedom and the amount that you get to hear the individuality in each musician. So there's plenty of solos, but I wouldn't call us improv or anything like that.
And what's the makeup of the group?
The jazz group?
Mm-hmm.
It all really depends on what people want. Normally it'll be guitar, bass, vocals, and trumpet. Sometimes there'll be a drum. I know we used to do this jazz brunch at this cafe downtown called Cafe Vivaldi, and we would sometimes have a violinist come in. And so it's really just these great, talented friends that we have, and whoever wants to come in and hang out, they can. And they never let us down, really.
And going back to the main project, how did that begin to form, and where did the music come from, and where did you two begin to overlap so it wasn't just a solo project but actually a band?
Yeah. So when we first started, we kind of just went under my name, and it was just Hannah Gill. And I know I was playing a lot of Brad's songs because, like he said, I'm a baby at this, you know. So it's I'm still learning on how to, you know, really crank out tunes or really sit down and write plenty of songs on my own. So it definitely started like that, and then I think slowly my tunes kind of got woven in, and I think we just realized that, you know, Brad does so much for the band, and all of our other talented musicians are so great. We wanted it to be more than just me, so then that's when we kind of decided to call it Hannah Gill and the Hours. So I think now we've got it to the point where it's a great blend of both Brad and I's tastes and what we both like in music, and I think that lends a really individual sound to what we have.
Can we hear a song?
Yeah,
yes.
What are you going to play for us first?
We're going to do Austin, which is the first song off the EP, and we have a video for it that we shot down in Austin. Yeah.
Great. Live on Snacky Tunes.
Texas on a whim to see if I could fit in, and I felt like a proper lady. And before long, I met a man, I fell in love, you understand. He was all I could think of. Oh, oh, Stan, you were my first lover. Why'd you say you love me if I meant nothing to you? Lord, oh, Stan, you were undercover. Why'd you say you love me and then found another? I moved to Kansas to move on. I drank whiskey until dawn, but I missed that loving. Oh, I went back to find that man. I find him and goddamn, he was with another. Lord, oh, Stan, you were my first lover. Why'd you say you love me if I meant nothing to you? Lord, oh, Stan, you were undercover. Why'd you say you love me and then found another? Don't you say my name, 'cause I've been saying yours ever since you walked out that door. This is what they meant when I heard it said that you can't come home again. I moved back home, settled down, got a job in my hometown, and I felt like a bruised woman. Before long I began to think that man would be the death of me, so I'm gonna kill him. Oh, Stan, you were my first lover. Why'd you say you love me if I meant nothing to you? Lord, oh, Stan, you were undercover. Why'd you say you love me and then you found another? Lord, oh, Stan, you were my first lover. Why'd you say you love me if I meant nothing to you? Lord, oh, Stan, you were undercover. Why'd you say you love me and then found another?
You made a couple references to you being a baby and new to this. So with your first EP, The Water, which came out earlier, or in spring, it's 2017 already, to get used to that, what did you want to capture, or what did you want to try to say with something that you knew was so fresh and so new to your musical career?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm still trying to find my way. So that new EP that we put out was really a good way to kind of just, I guess, show who I am and the type of music that I like to create and the people that I like to work with. And I think it's a good starting block to build off of, I think.
So do you think it's more of, I don't want to say positioning, but just an introduction to who you are, just to get yourself out there? And
well, yeah, of course. I think that's what everybody's first EP is. You know, they're testing the waters, and I think they're from there. That's a good way for people to get used to what you sound like, or not used to. That sounds terrible, but I guess decide if they like you.
She's fine. I'm used to it.
I'll get used to it. Yeah,
we'll get used to it.
But I guess it's a good way to get people to understand what type of music you're making, and then from there you can go and put something larger out. And that way, when you do, and after you've spent that time making the album and creating all of these new songs and these beautiful arrangements, and that way you have a group of people that already know what you do, and then they can come and appreciate it for what it is.
It's interesting to say that. I know, Brad, you mentioned one of your influences, Ani DeFranco, who is one of my favorite artists growing up. If you listen to her first records to when she finally added in horns and everything, you could tell by the time she got there, she'd been waiting for the money or the time to add that in. So, Hannah, I put this back to you and Brad as well. Are there things that you want to add on, let's say, EP4 that you didn't have the chance to do this time around because it's something you needed to build to or didn't have the resources or the right people?
Yeah, I mean, I think our EP right now has got a lot in it, and I'm pretty happy with it, But I think I don't know. I love the. I would love to kind of have maybe like a. I don't know. I'm really into like gospel-y blues right now, so it'd be really fun at some point to do like an EP kind of along those lines. But I think I'm super happy on where we are right now and what the EP sounds like. And I think the best thing about listening to an artist's progression of CDs or things that they really put out, you can see how they grow as an artist and how their tastes kind of change and I guess twist around other things that they are passionate about. So I don't know what we might want come the fourth EP.
If anything, we start chipping away. That's I mean, some of my favorite records of Ani's are just her, playing guitar and stripped down, and as a guitarist, you could really hear that her percussive playing and stuff. And so, I think one of the best songs on the albums is the last one, which is just acoustic guitar and vocals. And, it'd be fun to do more of that stuff, and cheaper.
Definitely cheaper.
And so the EP has been out for almost 6 months now.
Yeah.
What have you seen in the response, or what have you learned from it, or how people reacted to it being out in the world?
Yeah, people seem to really like it, and it's cool because you get different feedback. You get one group of people that are like, oh my gosh, I love how big the EP sounds. I love all the horns. I love all the background vocals. And then you have other people that are like, wow, I love the way that you guys perform live, where it's just 3 or 4 pieces. But then, you hear that, and then you listen to the EP, and then you hear how it sounds with the full sound. And so I don't know. I think people are enjoying both sides of the spectrum right now. So
I think when we do the full band show, which is when we're in the city playing, people are digging it. We got a really great musical director, Danny Giannacucci, and he put together a killer band. And so it's some of the best players in the city, and they just kill it, So, and then with Hannah's energy, I think that's where Hannah shines the most with the big horns behind her, and it's drums. But we were on tour for a while, and it was just 3 pieces and 3-piece, and that was fun too. You make do and get creative with things.
Has the stripped down version influenced the big band version coming back? There were things that you learned from the road that came back and made you like, okay, we have access to all these things, but maybe, like you said, you start to chip away at it?
yeah, I think so. I think it's made us kind of appreciate hearing each instrument, as its own element, because I think when you play with a big band, it's very easy to, I guess, lose some pieces among all of the other instruments that are playing. So I think by playing stripped down, you get to appreciate certain elements, and you could say, oh, okay, I know I want to hear more of the trumpet here, or maybe let's break it down so that you hear more of the bass or more of the percussive element. That way we hear how good it sounds broken down, and that way we know which elements we want to keep minimal and which elements we want to make bigger. So
are there just times on the road we just like, oh, I would kill for an 8-bar trumpet solo right now?
Oh, yes, all the time.
Really a bass player, mostly.
Yeah.
We'll start with some rhythm, and then we'll get to
right. Yeah, because we chose a trumpet player to come with us as our third piece, which is probably not the first
or second
or third choice.
Hopefully he doesn't hear about that one.
No, he's the worst. Yeah.
But why did you choose that over a bass player or keys or anything?
I don't really know.
Well, so our
just
our
less space in the car.
Yeah, there we go. He's more compact. Yeah. But no, our trumpet player is also our musical director, so it's one of those things. He also plays keys, so you got a Nord that can also carry the bass line, and then also if we want to hear the trumpet in there, we can. So multifaceted.
I think it really shapes our sound. If we didn't have a horn player in there, and then you heard the record, you'd be like, whoa, this is really different. And so, and it does really help things out with a solo instrument. It's like and he's such a showman. He's such a dork.
And it also bounces from things not sliding into someone's first and last name just being singer-songwriter and being pigeonholed in that way.
Exactly. Yeah, we both love cake.
Yes.
And they just kill with that trumpet player. And,
I think the first 2 Cake records might be the best road trip records of all time.
Oh, without a doubt.
Darren and I have spent many a road trips just being like, let's just put it on again.
I know every word to every song on the Fashion Nugget album.
I do too. Which is actually going to be the rest of the show where we just sing the show to each other.
Let's do that. Let's just do a Cake set.
Yes.
Can we hear another song?
Yeah.
What are you going to play for us?
Cake.
No.
What do you think? Change of the.
Let's do the water.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Can I get you to take a picture for our social media?
Social media. Okay. Don't you hear the water rolling down the mountain, rolling down the mountain and running to the sea? Can't you feel my heartbeat? Steady as a drum, babe. Steady as a drum, babe. And crawling to me. Oh, how time moves slow. And feel it in your soul. Let me hear you go. Oh, 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 oh. I wanna feel the water rising, washes over me. I wanna run with the water, but it pulls me out to sea. Don't you feel the yearning burning within? Yearning for the skin of the one you cannot win. So come a little closer, ooh, deep inside your mind, of the capsules and the times when you were free. And oh, how time moves slow. And feel it in your soul. Let me hear you go. Oh, 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 oh. I wanna feel the water rising, washes over me. I wanna run with the water, but it pulls me out. I wanna feel the water rising, washes over me. I wanna run with the water, but it pulls me out.
Hannah, you mentioned earlier that you started baking in 9th grade to combat anxiety. How did you land on baking?
Because I'm a total dweeb, I guess. But I don't know. I always enjoyed working with my hands, and that was also the time that I kind of discovered Pinterest, so my life was forever changed. But no, I realized I always loved to cook. But there was something about baking that I really enjoyed because you can follow the recipe and you kind of get to just turn your brain off. And if you do everything that piece of paper or that web page tells you to do, you'll end up with something delicious. So it was a great way to kind of just focus on that.
I prefer cooking because if you don't follow it, you'll still get there. But baking
That's
is so exact.
Don't get me wrong. I love to cook too. It's one of my favorite things.
But how did it help you combat your anxiety, or how did it allow you to interact with people?
Well, just kind of, I don't know, I guess, I'm a very extroverted person. I love to be out and to talk to people and to have a good time. But then at the same time, you know, just like everybody, I love to have my private time. And I guess the time that I feel most relaxed is when I can just turn on some music and work with my hands and make something out of nothing that I can later eat and enjoy.
What is your star recipe?
Oh, my star recipe. It's actually, so I make these eggnog snickerdoodles.
Okay.
And they're perfect for this time of the year. But those are pretty solid. And I make a really good blueberry peach pie.
Are these your own recipes that you've adapted, or something that you follow that you just now claim as your own?
I mean, they were originally recipes that I found and followed, but it's gotten to the point now where I make them so often, I kind of just have it memorized, and I will tweak them a little bit, you know, but...
What's the Hannah tweak?
What's the Hannah tweak?
Cinnamon?
Yeah, there's more cinnamon in the snickerdoodles. Yeah, that's me, yeah. I drug all of my baked goods, yeah.
This is so good.
I love you.
And you also mentioned that you make French macaroons, but you're like at the beginning of that long, long journey.
Yes. I haven't been able to do it as much anymore because it's a very expensive hobby to have. But yeah, no, I've successfully made macaroons maybe 5 or 6 times.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's great. Anytime that I have more than like $10 in my like okay to spend jar, I will go out and I will make macaroons.
What's the non-professional chef's secret to a good at-home French macaroon?
Parchment paper. Because I can't afford those fancy rubber mats that everyone has.
One day.
One day.
Enough like jazz gigs and you'll get there.
Yeah, I'll get the nice silicone baking sheet, yeah.
So what's next for 2017?
Just making more music. You know, we're bubbling with new ideas. And I know I've spent the holidays writing, and we're hoping to get back into the studio and record and just, I don't know, I guess work on the Hannah Gill and the Hours sound. So
another EP, LP, single?
I don't know. I think it all depends on really where we want to go as a band. I just know we're going to put something new out, and it's going to be great. Leave you in suspense.
Total
if
suspense.
You will.
Well, we want to make sure we get time for one more song. So where can people find the EP? Find your gigs?
You can find us. You know, we're all over the place. You can find our music on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora under Hannah Gill and the Hours, and we've got our website, hannahgillandthehours.com. You can find us on Facebook. Our Instagram is Hannah Gill and the Hours, and the same with Twitter. And we actually have a show at Rockwood Music Hall on the 21st, stage 2 at 8 p.m. Yep.
And any tours coming up, or just New York for the moment?
Just New York for the moment.
Not that it's a bad place to be.
Gonna enjoy where we are, yeah.
I know. I love that. Every time I come back home from the road, I was like, oh yeah, I live in New York.
Oh wait, this is really cool.
This is really cool. This is like the default city.
This is cooler than where I was, even though I thought it was cooler there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole great thing about evolving through life. You get to the place where you're ready to be at.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We appreciate you tuning in this week, and make sure to listen in next week for another episode of Snacky Tunes. What are you going to take us out with?
Against the Wall, the last tune on our EP.
Oh, the stripped down one.
The stripped down one. So we're going to do this stripped down. Stripped down. So it's just going to be...
Take off your jacket.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
People around me walk back and forth between their day-to-day lives, but I don't mind. Storms around me trickling drums through the midnight sky, but I don't mind. Gonna have to face it. Gonna have to let it in. 'Cause up against the wall, mine is seen to fall short, so short to me, yeah. And after all, beauty seen to fall in 3. The bones are breaking, making room for the ghost of you. I never knew. Castles crumble, beating down the walls that you never used. You left abused. Gonna have to face it. You're gonna have to let it in, yeah. 'Cause up against the wall, body's seen to fall short, so short to me. Ooh, me, yeah. And after all, beauty seemed to fall in three. So knock this down. Feel the ground below your feet. And move with the rain. Let the thunder set the beat. Yeah, 'cause up against the wall, bodies seem to fall short, so short to me, to me. Yeah, and after all, beauty seemed to fall in for. Oh, yeah, 'cause up against the wall, bodies seem to fall short, so short to me, to me. And after all, beauty seemed to fall in three.
We talk about food, we talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. For our freshest content and to hear about exclusive events, subscribe to our newsletter. Enter your email at the bottom of our website, heritageradionetwork.org. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at heritage_radio. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization driving conversations to make the world a better, fairer, more delicious place. And we couldn't do it without support from listeners like you. Want to be a part of the food world's most innovative community? Rate the shows you like, tell your friends, and please join our community by becoming a member. Just click on the beating heart at the top right of our homepage. Thanks for listening.